Hi, I wanted to just explain a little bit about what I'm doing here in terms of there's like two parts to this video. Um, I just finished watching a documentary about annuities, and as you know, I'm in the whole life dividend paying insurance with mutual insurance companies. And that's very specific. There are whole life products that I don't generally talk to people about in terms of putting them into them. They consider them whole life. But what I'm talking about is a very specific whole life product. So I consider myself a holistic guide in that I share with you my knowledge and understanding of these products, these tools, because there's different tools that do different things that are very safe. And those are the products that I think that our grandparents and our parents may have used, certainly before the late 60s, 70s, mid 70s. There was, before that, most families saved either at a bank or inside whole life. There were pensions. A lot of people had pensions after World War II. That's when they came out. And so I consider myself a holistic guide, meaning I offer understanding of a lot of different things that you can do. But the foundation is the whole life. And here, anyway, I'm going to talk about the documentary, and then I've got an interview with one of the people that put together the documentary. So anyway, I just wanted to explain that, and I hope you enjoy it. I'd love to hear your feedback. All right, thank you for your time. Until next time. Good morning. I wanted to just share with you a documentary that I'm watching. It hasn't come out to the public as of yet, but it will be this summer coming out, I believe. I don't have any control over that, but I've been told that it'll possibly come out in June. Anyway, it's a documentary about annuities, which I have known about, but haven't really delved into it. But this came to my attention through a gentleman that I'm acquainted with, and he's very well respected in this space. And so I I purchased the video, and it has 7 other interviews with the people that are in the documentary, but on a much deeper level. They go into more detail. And I'm listening to one of the professors from Canada who 20 years ago, he became more of a consultant. But he was talking about the 2 things that are, I guess you could call it a storm in a way, a change in the way things function inside those defined benefit plans. And he also noticed something that was interesting just about our behavior. They did this exhaustive research on the 10 best funds to put into a contribution distribution kind of thing. And they had the best funds. They picked it all out. They went through great expense and time and energy. And the way that it was structured, it was down in Florida about 20 years ago. They started this, and they offered it to the employees of the state and said, if you'd like to stay with the defined benefit plan that you have, that's fine, but we also have this defined contribution. And the short of it is that behaviorally, what they said, you can do nothing, or you can change to the defined contribution. And 95% of the people stayed with the defined contribution. Only 5% went to the defined contribution. I hope I said that right. And about 3 years ago, they changed the ruling a little bit for new employees. And what they did was they just changed the way it was going to be the default. The default became the defined contribution. And the defined benefit, if you came on as a new employee, you had to select the defined benefit. Otherwise, you go to the defined contribution, which is a bit more risky, because it is funds and it's in the market, but they pick the best ones, And what they discovered was that 95% of the time, people just went with the defined contribution. They didn't take the inertia, the initiative to go to the defined benefit. And that's very interesting. It's a behavioral thing, just initiative. Us taking the initiative, which is kind of what I've been talking about recently, is we really need to own it. We need to think for ourselves. We need to make movements in the direction of which we want to go to. We do that in our general life, in our work life, we do that in our home life, we tend to do that. But when it comes to our finance and maybe even our health, we don't necessarily do that. Almost till it might be too late to make any real changes. I found that very interesting. And so this world of annuities coincides with whole life, dividend paying, participating life insurance, which is a specific product, right? Because there's variable whole life, there's indexed variable whole life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about whole life dividend paying with a mutual insurance company. It's a certainty. When they sign that contract with you, they are on the hook. You become their liability. You transfer the risk to them. So, with that said, the thing to remember about whole life policies is that you can do a 1035 with them down the road, when you're 70, 80, whatever you decide, 65, and do a 1035 exchange and annuitize them, and you could annuitize it and say, get an annuity, and you could say, in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, or you could do it immediately. I want to annuitize it, and that would generate lifetime income. And again, I'm going to make the point too that both of these products are inside an insurance company. I'll point out, banks buy whole life dividend paying policies more than anybody in this country. They own more in dollar value than anyone. Why is that? You might want to question, why do they ask you to do one thing with your money, but they do something else with theirs? It becomes, if you own one or two or 10 or 20, there are people that own multiple. A good friend of mine has over 30 of them within their family. You can annuitize 10 of them, you can annuitize one of them, whatever it is you want. Very flexible, with certainty. You can't find that anywhere else. So, anyway, I just thought I'd share this because I'm just watching it. You can see I'm all set up here. I'm watching it. My computer looks like it's off, and I'm watching it on this bigger screen. We will talk to you later. All right. Have a great day, and until next time. There he is.
All right, let me get my, there we
Hey,
go.
Tom.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Good. So you don't know me, probably,
but I know you. Obviously, you're all over the place, and I really appreciate that you would come on and do this. So I have my 50,
Right.
um, and I'm attending a home and garden show, and I'm going to have a drawing, and I'm going to give 40 of these away at the show.
Okay, that's great.
Like 40, 45,000 people come through in 4 days, I guess. I've never done it before, but I like that environment.
Yep.
So anyway, I just wanted you to talk a little bit about maybe the making of the movie and the experience that you had and why people should watch it.
Sure.
And you can start anytime. I know your time is very valuable, so like everyone's. So
All right. Well, look, Doug Orchard is an award-winning filmmaker. He's made numerous documentaries. This is a documentary on the baby boomer dilemma, the problem that baby boomers are having with retirement. Their parents all had pensions. Most baby boomers don't. The market, is at or near all-time record highs. We printed a lot of money. We spent a lot of money. What happens if that market comes down, if it comes down too far, stays down for too long? A lot of people don't realize the Japanese stock market has been down for over 30 years. The European stock market has been down for 20 years. What would happen to your retirement if the market went down significantly and stayed down for an extended period of time? And I'm a baby boomer too. So I've announced my retirement. I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk. And this movie is full of top PhDs. These are the top people who've studied retirement. Dr. David Babel of Wharton. There's a couple Nobel Prize winners, Dr. Robert C. Merton, Dr. William Sharp. There's Dr. Moshe Milevsky in here, other professors from Wharton. And so this is really a documentary that's based in math and science. It's based on facts. It's not based on opinions. And they really lay out some solutions at the end to help baby boomers retire, the optimal way, how to get the most for the least in retirement, because that's what it's all about. There's no dress rehearsal. There's no second chance. We got to get it right the first time. And I think watching this movie will help people get their mindset correct on what the various risks in retirement are and how you can handle those risks in the most efficient manner possible.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they called the 401k. I don't know if it was specifically the 401k, but that it was an experiment. They used that word, and that caught my attention. Experiment, and you've got 80 million plus people here in the U.S. that are baby boomers.
Yeah, and in a 401k, obviously it's better than not having anything, but it's not nearly as good as a pension. That pension was guaranteed income for the rest of your life. You couldn't outlive it. And really, if you think about it, people have gotten paychecks for their entire career. And what do they do with the paycheck? They spent it. They went on vacations. They bought their car. They invested some of it. But you got and spent a paycheck for 40 something years. At the same time, you were saving money. And you were told, don't touch that, protect it, let it grow. Well, you do that for 45 years. You're not going to wake up on your 65th birthday saying, by golly, I'm going to blow my 401k today. So people have trouble spending that money because they've been psychonomically programmed not to touch it. And what the movie helps say is, no, what you should do is take some of that wealth that you have and turn those into those guaranteed paychecks and playchecks, because you've been programmed to spend those. And it's the spending of money in retirement that allows you to enjoy your retirement. So really, the movie shares with you how you can be happier in retirement. And now the research shows if you're happier, you're likely to live longer as well. So there's a lot of key reasons why people ought to, spend 90 minutes to watch the movie. It's a very well done movie.
Yeah. And I thought that the interviews after the movie or also, and maybe even somewhat more, that they were just spot on. I mean, it really captured my attention. Like I'm in whole life dividend mutual insurance companies. That's what I promote. Like Nelson Nash, if you're Nelson Nash, that whole thing. And I knew about annuities, but I didn't understand exactly how they worked. And now I have a much better understanding, and why the number on your 401k or your mutual funds isn't the thing to be looking at. That's not what you should be concerned about. It's about the cash flow, the passive cash flow.
And that's correct. And, I always tell people, some of you say, oh, I got $1 million in my 401k. And I say, yeah, how much of that is yours? And they would say, what do you mean? It's all mine. My name's on it. I go, no, it's not all yours. You have a partner and the partner is the general partner. You're the limited partner. The general partner is the federal government, and they get to take their cut first. And right now that might be 38, 39%. But what happens if taxes go back up to 50, 60, 70, 80, it's been as high as 90% in this country? What happens if taxes go way up? You may have no idea what that 401k will give you, which is one of the reasons I've converted most of my IRAs and 401ks to Roth. And many of them are in these guaranteed lifetime income products. So I'm going to get guaranteed tax-free lifetime income for the rest of my life. And I encourage people to look at that option as well.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I thought it was also interesting that annuities are from an insurance company, and so are the whole life products. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, so you should look at that. Most people run the other way when you start talking about life insurance. And I thought that was very interesting, but I thought it was an excellent movie. It was just over the top.
Yeah, no, I think it's worth 90 minutes for people to watch that.
Yes, because they're going to be retired for a long time.
Right.
It could be painful. But anyway, Tom, I want to thank you for your time this morning, and
Sure.
Enjoy the weather out there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.